So yesterday, Apple made its first big product launch in like 10 years, right? For their new virtual reality headset. We find out it's actually a mixed reality headset, and the price tag is really outside reality for most of us.
That's what I hear. So joining us to recap Apple's new headset drop and more is the senior editor of CNET, Lisa Edichico. Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Tell us about this big drop. What are you going to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest news from yesterday, of course, is Apple's new Vision Pro headset. And like you mentioned, this is the first major new product launch that we've seen in almost 10 years. The last one was the Apple Watch almost a decade ago. And what Apple is really trying to do here is invent a new type of computer that it calls a spatial computer. So instead of being bound by screens like on your iPhone or your laptop, the idea here is that you can view apps pretty much anywhere that you look in your room. And that kind of gives you more space and just like a bigger canvas to use them. But of course, it does not come cheap. It's about $3,500 when it launches next year. So it's definitely up there in terms of price. But this really tells us a bit about where Apple sees computing going in the future. But of course, that was only one announcement we saw yesterday. There were a ton of updates that touched everything from the Mac lineup to the iPhone software and the Apple Watch software and even AirPods. So there's certainly a lot coming up.
You know what, you were talking about the price tag. I mean, $3,500 here, but you know, you have to remember the first VCR in '77 was $1,400, and then you know the prices go down. But with Apple products, the prices tend to stay pretty high. Do you expect after a while, after the buzz wears off, that we might see maybe a cheaper version?
I think for something like this, you might see a cheaper version, because don't forget, now that Apple has done this, this is possibly going to change the entire market, and we're going to see a lot of other competitors like Meta try to be a bit more competitive. So I think it kind of depends on where the whole market goes. But I personally do see the price for this one coming down, in my opinion, because $3,500 isn't accessible for that many people. And just look at what we've seen with the iPhone and the Apple Watch, right? There's the Pro version that's very expensive, but then there's also the cheaper versions like the standard iPhone or the Apple Watch SE. So it is possible that in the future, Apple could expand the lineup and launch a cheaper version as the technology itself gets cheaper and smaller.
Another thing that dropped yesterday was the new MacBook Air. What's that all about, and how different is it from previous versions?
So the new MacBook Air is very similar to previous versions, but the big difference here is that you're getting a 15-inch screen for the first time. And that's a big deal because we've only really seen the MacBook Air in 13-inch and 11-inch form factors before. And that's great because if you want a bigger screen, but you don't necessarily want all of the processing upgrades and storage upgrades that come with the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Air 15-inch is going to be a good option. So I think it's a great thing for consumers that we're seeing a new size option for the MacBook Air, but it is still quite expensive. I believe it starts at $1,200, so definitely not a cheap one.
So the one thing I know we can't afford is the iOS 17, because that's just a download upgrade. So what's included in the new iOS?
Yeah, there are a bunch of new features coming in iOS 17. A lot of them kind of revolve around personalization and communication, of course. Some of the biggest ones are you'll be able to leave messages in FaceTime. So if you call somebody on FaceTime and they don't answer, you can leave them a little video message. Autocorrect is also getting an upgrade. It should be more accurate and also easier to revert to the previous word that you typed. We're also seeing something new called standby mode, which should make your iPhone act a little bit more like a smart display when it's charging and positioned sideways. So if you rest it on your nightstand or have it, you know, on a stand on your desk and it's plugged into power, it can kind of serve as a clock or a smart display that shows upcoming calendar appointments and things like that. And that's really just scratching the surface. There's a lot of things in iOS 17. There's also a new way to share your contact information with other people simply by holding your iPhone near someone else's iPhone. So again, a lot of seemingly small upgrades, but things that I think will add some convenience.
Great. Thank you for the update, Lisa. A lot of good things to think in terms of if you have the bucks to pay for them, though.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.